Hi everyone, I'm Susan here for our next Tuesday Shelf Talk. Today I'll be talking about Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stuart. This book was reviewed as part of our Adult Summer Reading Challenge. This is a contemporary book which we hold in our popular collection, and we also hold it as an e-book and an e-audio book on Belinda Borrowbox. Hugh Shuggie Bain is a sweet and lonely boy who spends his 1980s childhood in rundown public housing in Glasgow, Scotland. Thatcher's policies have put husbands and sons out of work, and the city's notorious drugs epidemic is waiting in the wings. Shuggie is struggling to somehow become the normal boy he desperately longs to be, but everyone has realised that he is not right, a boy with a secret that all but him can see. So our reviewers said, a beautiful, raw, painful tale of growing up in 1980s Glasgow. I'm a great believer in not reinventing the wheel, and this paragraph from the Booker Prize listing on this book sums it up more beautifully than I ever could. Laying bare the ruthlessness of poverty, the limits of love, and the hollowness of pride, Shuggie Bain is a blistering and heartbreaking debut and an exploration of the unsinkable love that only children can have for their damaged parents. Winner of the 2020 Booker Prize. This is a great companion book to Hillbilly Elegy and Honeybee if you liked either of those. And our other reviewer said, what a read. Challenging to keep reading in many places, I often had to take a wee break as I endeavoured to deal with the myriad of emotions that arose as I read Douglas Stuart's beautifully written book of life in a mining town that is slowly disintegrating under Thatcher-era rule. Agnes Bain is a complex woman. She aspires to a better, bigger life. However, her husband, Shug, a taxi driver, plays her a raw deal when he moves the family to a house in an estate and promptly leaves her for another woman. The effect is catastrophic on her and the family. Shuggie's childhood is fraught with incidents of overt and covert bullying. He does his best to protect his mother and himself, and it's heartbreaking to read. And Leek, Shuggie's older brother, could you blame him for leaving his mother and Shuggie? A quote, the house was only a stone's throw from the bus stop, but Leek walked home very slowly. His legs were heavy from the day's graft on the youth training scheme, his insides heavy with the dread of what might lie at home. Despite the details of abuse, neglect and poverty, it is the prose that Stuart uses that draws you into Shuggie's world. It's trauma. As I finished reading the book, I couldn't help but ponder how many other children are enduring similar upbringings today. And maybe that's the whole purpose of Shuggie Bain. From an interview with Stuart in the Irish Times comes this. The process of writing, the act of creating art from life, was an act of taking control. When you grow up as a child of trauma, you have no control over that, especially when it's a parent suffering from addiction. It's really a black hole and you're just whipped around it trying to cope. So if you can take that trauma and turn it into art and take control over it as fiction, it's an incredibly powerful place to be. And our reviewer said this was a very worthy winner of the 2020 Booker Prize. So you may like to read this book if you liked A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, Train Spotting by Irvin Welsh, or Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. So that's Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stuart. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week for another Tuesday Shelf Talk. Bye!